fellas! Welcome back to the worst channel on YouTube. I am back with yet another banger of a horribly scripted and acted out video where I share my unwanted and admittedly often bad opinions about anime PNGs fighting one another. You might know me from bangers such as how far would Yujiro get in Dragon Ball and how far would Kirby get in Dragon Ball. And let's not forget the awful first episode in the series which I still look back on and cringe incredibly hard at, how far would Luffy get in Dragon Ball. In my defense though, I had absolutely no idea what I was doing during that video and just kinda winged it. But today's episode is not about some rubber monkey toy your mom uses in her bedroom. For today's episode, we will be looking at a pretty highly requested character from a series we have seen before on the channel. Today we will be looking at Ajimu Najimi from the Medaka Box series. So before we get into the whole ability mumbo jumbo, let's just get a short backstory so we know who we're dealing with. So Najimi is technically the founder of Hakoniwa Academy, who had been sealed by Kumagawa for 3 years prior to her seal awakening, due to Kumagawa being reformed by Medaka in the plot of the series. You see, she is actually, and I am dead serious when I say this, seriously, just look it up if you don't believe me, 3,402,192,822,311 years old. Now, either I just really am far worse at math than I remember, or this chick really is just casually over 1 trillion years old. But before I start roasting this, her age is actually explained through one of her abilities, but we will get to talking about her abilities in a little while. As far as I was able to find, the real documented history that we have about her starts off about 5,000 years prior to the actual plot of the series starting, where she got defeated by Shishime well over 100 million times in a row. Yeah, the numbers in the show are just crazy, you better get used to it because there's more in this video, but if you get triggered by this, blame the writers, don't blame me, I didn't think this up. But the Shishime was an obstacle in her quest to attain a certain goal, but she finally got the clever idea to just avoid him, and just achieved said goal by doing so. Later on, however, about 100 years prior to the start of the actual series, she switched to a new plan to create the perfect human. This led her to eventually found Hakoniwa Academy in order to further attain this goal. Fast forward to 3 years before the series actually starts, she made Kumagawa the student council president and gave herself the position of vice president. However, Kumagawa was kinda mentally unstable and just viciously attacked her to confirm whether he really liked her or just liked her for her face. So he did what any sane individual in that situation would have done. He ripped her face off and sealed her away. Yeah, I think he might need a therapist, but that's not the point of this video. By the way guys, now that we have done that short little backstory, I have a question for you. Do you still like big numbers? Because wouldn't you know it, I have yet another retarded ass number to give you guys in regards to her powers. As you may have seen in my video on Medaka vs Dragon Ball, characters from Medaka Box have powers called abnormalities, which are subdivided into pluses and minuses, but that's not really what I'm going to get in here. But basically they are, for all intents and purposes, just superpowers. Usually every character has only one ability for them to use. Najimi, however, has a stupendous total of 12,858,976,633,865 unique abnormalities she can use. And once again, I am not kidding on this one. Blame the writers of Medaka Box for making me do math. But obviously not all of her quadrillion abilities have been explained or documented. It would be pretty unrealistic to expect someone to actually completely write out and design over 12 quadrillion unique abilities. I'm fairly certain you couldn't even think of that many unique abilities, but not the point. So I will just go through a couple of the ones I found to be especially noteworthy for this part of the video. The biggest one that immediately just jumped out to me was her ability called Deadlock. This ability just straight up makes her immortal. No catches, no weird side effects. Yeah, she's just immortal. She just can't die. That's already pretty damn broken to begin with. But another one of her skills is called Life Zero. This skill allows her to straight up just nullify any skill she so desires. So, for example, somebody has a skill that just makes them the strongest person alive somehow, just throwing that out there. Najimi can just say, no. And yeah, that shit doesn't work anymore. Another strong entry in the skill set is the ability called Alibi Block. This is just instant transmission, except it's on steroids, because it allows her to teleport to both any physical and metaphysical plane. She also has a skill called 100 Gauntlets, and from what I could find about it, it's a skill that reverses causality. The way I interpreted this is that it shares some similarities with King Crimson from JoJo's, but instead of removing the cause and keeping the effect like King Crimson would do, 100 Gauntlets just completely reverses both cause and effect, causing any damage or any effect or anything that just happened to be completely removed, since it technically never happened due to the ability's effect. It's basically rewriting reality so that it never happened. And to be completely honest, with just these 4 abnormalities, I already can't see many characters who can do jack shit to her unless she just wants them to. She suffers from something that I've seen other people call the Thanos fallacy. What is the Thanos fallacy? The Thanos fallacy comes from the concept that Thanos was already near unbeatable even without the lost Infinity Stone. Realistically speaking, if he didn't just play games with the Avengers all day, he could have easily crushed all of them with just even only 4 of the 5 Infinity Stones. But no, he had to play games to get the 5th one, and just like it wasn't necessary for him to win. That's like the point this fallacy is trying to make. This same way of thought can also be applied to let's say Valak from the Conjuring franchise, or more specifically its appearance in the Nun movie. Throughout the movie, Valak tries to possess someone to be its vessel so it can leave the abbey it's trapped in. Supposedly this would allow it to use its true powers and stuff, but the problem is that Valak is already damn near omnipotent without a vessel. It can already warp reality, it can already create illusions, it already has super strength, etc. It can already air yeet people. Like, it could get a vessel whenever it wants, but it just insists on playing these stupid ass fucking games with these people. Even without a vessel, Valak could have killed everyone in the abbey aside from Frenchie and just possess him at his leisure when he's the only one left. The same kind of thought process can be applied to Najimi. With just the 4 abilities I shared before, she is already pretty much untouchable, and she still has a quadrillion other abilities in her toolbox. Now, I might not be the best at math, I totally get that, but the chances that not a single one of her quadrillion skills would help her defeat everyone in Dragon Ball is just next to nothing. The problem with this take is that you can make the argument that with the amount of skills she has, there is almost no way she can realistically lose to anyone. But the key word there was almost. People can always make the claim that there is a 0.00000 infinite zeros 1% chance she might not have a skill that would help her beat, for example, let's say Zeno. But I personally just believe that they just made her so incredibly broken beyond belief that everyone in Dragon Ball can join hands and still lose to this girl. Aside from the 4 skills mentioned before, let me just name a few more to just illustrate how obscenely powerful Najimi actually is. So she has the running system skill, which means that once someone hits her, they won't be able to hit her ever again. Combine that with immortality and you have a completely soft lock on your opponent. She also has a skill called My Inflation, which makes her stronger the stronger the enemy she faces is. So just outpowering her won't magically make you win the fight. Then there is her triple necrotic skill. This allows her to return any damage she takes in threefold. Once again, combine this with her immortality and you can just have a complete lockdown again. Like, what is anybody going to do to this? Like, it's just overpowered. Like, I'm just at a loss for words at this point. She also has a skill called I Can Cancel, where she just locks an opponent out of using a technique they've used before. So every attack only gets 1 shot against her, and if that doesn't work, you can't use it again. She has uncountable amounts of other abilities just as broken than these ones. I am dead serious when I say that no one, and I truly do mean no one, in the entire world of Dragon Ball can do jack shit to her. Devilman's attack won't work because she is both not evil and immortal. Like, crushing her heart is not going to do shit. Sealing her with something like the Mafuba won't work because she could just teleport to any physical or metaphysical location. She could theoretically just enter Goku's barren landscape of a mind and pop out from there to escape. Like, I don't think she can realistically be sealed in any other way than Kumagawa sealed her, but I'm not entirely confident on this one. So her being sealed is like the only way I can really see Dragon Ball standing a chance, but I'm not really confident in saying that it would work either. I'm just putting it out there that this could be a mistake of me, but I don't think sealing techniques would really work on her at all. But once again, maybe I'm wrong. Just correct me on that one if I'm wrong. But she also can't be erased by a god of destruction because she can just use a combination of skills to where she is immortal and can just reverse the causality of what just happened. Like, okay, she gets a kite, her soul lifts, she reverses the causality, she's no longer a kite. Like, it's broken. It's really broken. This also means that Zeno won't be able to just erase her because she quite literally has the most protagonist plot power I have ever seen in an anime or manga. She can just break the fourth wall and rewrite the entire story of Dragon Ball to just fit her whims. Honestly speaking, like after doing this video and all this, I feel like I might have undersold Medaka herself a bit too, but damn, this girl is just broken beyond belief. Like, I genuinely do not see a situation where anyone in the Dragon Ball universe can realistically stop her. So as a result of this, I can't say anything else than that I just think Najimi completely sweeps the entire Dragon Ball universe we know today. Like, obviously, maybe in the future this might change, but for right now, I just don't see it. If you just look at all the abilities she has, I'd say there is honestly just no way she loses to anyone unless she specifically wants to lose and chooses not to use her abilities, but that would be absolutely retarded, so I'm not going to use that as an argument. However, there is always the possibility of me missing something, like maybe there's a possible exception I might have overlooked. So if you think you know of a way someone from the Dragon Ball universe could possibly beat this kid, please do let me know in the comments down below. Because after all, I am still just human, it's quite possible I missed something or made a mistake, so don't be afraid to correct me, I don't bite. I will also place a link to the Medaka Box wiki, which lists all of the known abilities of Najimi in the description, so be sure to take a look at it for yourself to see that I am not bullshitting you guys when I say that she has just the most broken skill set I've ever seen. But with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, thank you all so much for watching this video. You taking the time out of your day to watch my content really does mean a lot to me. If you liked the video, please leave a like and comment your thoughts down below. If you disliked the video, be sure to still comment down below calling me an idiot with horrible takes. Subscribe if you want to see more of my content in the future, and be sure to let me know what character you would like to see next. And with that being said, I will see you all again in the next video. Peace out.